it's me, Val Toxic Free. Welcome, happy Sunday. So, okay, a while ago I talked about some Sanpaku eyes in another video, and so today I want to talk about it because I find it really, really interesting. We know that there's videos all over YouTube about the narc stare. So that's me trying to do a narc stare. Some people have screenshot that and use it against me. Anyway, so the narc stare, the glare, the empty eyes, the soulless personality that you see through the eyes. Obviously, you know, the eyes are the window to the soul, so this is how I see it. So I looked into it and I find Sanpaku eyes is really, really interesting. So I've got some notes here. Okay, it is said that Sanpaku means three whites, when the white is visible on three or more sides of the pupil. It is said to be an indication of mental imbalance in people such as psychotics, murderers, and anyone rageful. George Osawa, a Japanese man who poached the concept of Sanpaku from an old Asian tradition of facial reading to help him with his yin and yang balance of this diet that he was promoting. The Japanese believe Sanpaku is a sign of your mental health and physical health, or a decline in it. Osawa claimed that three whites was a particularly nasty characteristic of someone suspicious, fearful, insecure, and quick to misunderstand. So, are the Japanese onto something? Are the Japanese actually telling us to be aware of somebody with Sanpaku eyes? Or is it just an old wives' tale? So, the healthy, balanced person, which I'll put some clips up to, would have the iris positioned right in the middle so that the whites can be seen on either side. Some people have the pupil floating so that the whites can be seen on all sides as well as above or below the iris. This is a sign of poor health. Illness, drugs, alcohol and bad living and diet, spiritual, physical and a mental imbalance. The dead eyes, the glare, the empty gaze of a narcissist, is that just because they're dead inside? Or is it Sanpaku? As they say, the eyes are the window to the soul, if they have one. Are Sanpaku eyes a red flag of narcissism, psychopathy, sociopath, very sick person? It seems not every narc or psychopath has Sanpaku eyes. We know a lot of normal people have Sanpaku eyes too, but what we need to remember is that some people have something called Graves' disease, which can give them the look of Sanpaku with three whites, four whites on either side, but it's a thyroid imbalance. So don't go running at every sight of three whites of the eyes because it could mean something completely different. Just be aware. Now, remember, we know red flags turn into traits afterwards. Hindsight is brilliant, we know that. Red flags that we see before, we don't believe them until afterwards, till we've been through the hell, after we've done the research, we've crawled out of the rabbit hole, come out of the fog. We tend to then look back and think, oh my God, and we see it. We know narcs love bomb, and so do genuine people in love. We know normal people do a lot of things similar to narcs, and narcs do a lot of things similar to normal people. That's why it's so difficult to detect. It's a context thing, it's what's behind the words, it's ambiguity. The narc stare, is it Sanpaku? So let's take a look at the Sanpaku eyes. Whites below, okay? They are a danger to themselves. This is yin Sanpaku. They're a danger to themselves from stress and bad health, bad diet. This supposedly means that the outside world is in danger to them from pressures, stress, drugs and alcohol. Could be a sign of an early death. George Osawa also basically predicted President Kennedy's death through his Sanpaku eyes. When the white is shown above the iris, this indicates the much rarer yang Sanpaku. An individual with this condition is thought to have a serious emotional and mental imbalance that could cause severe mood swings and angry outbursts and demonstrate aggressive or dangerous behaviour. Many serial killers possess yang Sanpaku eyes, whites above the eyes, which means the world is danger from you. If you see whites on top of the eyes, run. Whites all around the eyes, run faster, but do it quietly. The Japanese believe that these eyes can predict violent behaviour. The more pressure and stress a person is under, the more it will show in their eyes. The more whites around the iris, the more dangerous that individual can become. So what do you think? Sanpaku eyes. At what spectrum of madness do they occur? Toxic, narcissistic, sociopathic, psychopathic, or just a special kind of freak? Or just hocus pocus and baloney? See, when a baby is born, the iris, the coloured part of the eye, is usually beautifully balanced between the upper and the lower eyelid. It touches the upper and the lower lids so that there's no white or sclera, however you say it, shows above or below. The sclera is visible only to the left and the right side of the iris. This indicates a balanced and healthy nervous system. The baby is alert and in generally sound health. When a person dies, the iris rises so that it partially disappears under the eyelid. This is called three whites. The three whites of Sanpaku is common among those who are ill, exhausted. It is most severe among those who are gravely ill and approaching death. Three whites show that a person's nervous system is seriously imbalanced. Such a person's mind, body, and spirit are out of harmony with the larger forces of the cosmos. The whites show above the condition is yang. A person with yang Sanpaku eyes is extremely violent, filled with rage, and likely poses a threat to himself and others. He may destroy himself, but may also take people down with him. Okie dokie. Let's have a look at some Sanpaku eyes in the famous, the murderers, the serial killers, and the celebrities. So here we go. Yin Sanpaku. That's when the bottom of the white part of the eye is visible. It's referred to as Yin Sanpaku. According to the myth, it represents physical imbalance in the body and is claimed to be present in alcoholics, drug addicts, and people who overconsume sugar or grain. And I'm just going to add a nutcases on the end of that. So as we can see, we've got Mara Hindley. Mara Hindley, as you can see on the left, is her when she was young. Her eyes look pretty straightforward. On the right, you can see Sanpaku underneath her eyes. So that shows she was very unwell. I would say she's probably more than unwell. We know who she is. If you don't know, look Mara Hindley up. She was the Moors murderer and she was the most diabolical woman that we've got. We've also got Michael Jackson. As you can see, before and after Michael Jackson's eyes when he was younger, and obviously when he was older. Now it could be down to obviously his all his cosmetic surgery that's pulled his eye down, but quite a few pictures I've seen are like that. So that is because again he was poorly, a very sick man, as we know towards the end. Princess Diana, as we can see there, her eyes on the right when she did the Martin Bashir interview, looking very ill, not very well. Her left side obviously is when she was younger. Her right side was when she was going through the stress and she was throwing herself down the stairs. She had an eating disorder. She was not well at all, bless her. And then we go on to Yang Sanpaku. Now Yang Sanpaku is when the upper sclera is visible. This is called Yang. This is said to be a mental imbalance in such people as psychotics, murderers, and anyone rageful. So let's have a look. Charlie Manson, cult leader. Left hand side, psychotic, but not as psychotic as the right hand side. Yet Sanpaku above. Well, there you go, that says it all. I find this very, very interesting. He had the Yang Sanpaku, and I always remember this Yang with the A. Above, Yang, Yin below. That's how I remember the difference between Yin and Yang. So Charlie Manson, cult leader, obviously Yang Sanpaku above, and obviously very crazy. Here we got next James Holmes, Colorado shooting, the one that did the shooting in the Batman movie theatre when people were watching the movie at 12 o'clock midnight. He went dressed as the Joker. What a psycho. As you can see from the left before and to the right, his eyes have completely changed. Now what I want to play you is a clip. The clip is in his trial, his sister's talking in his trial, so just listen to this.
How was that visit for you?
It was pretty good. He was more responsive than I thought he might be.
Did he seem different at all to you?
Yes.
How?
His eyes seemed a lot different. So the main difference that I noticed in his eyes were that they were almost bulging out of his head.
Right, so you've listened to that. I found that very, very interesting. As she says that when she went to see him, his eyes were bulging and he looked very, very different in his demeanour to when she knew him before. Okay, Adam Lanza, school shooter, as you can see. Left hand side before, pretty normal looking. Right hand side, when he was arrested, pretty wild. Yang Sanpaku. Strange, crazy, psychotic and murderous. Now the last one, Jimmy Savile. Now, I've done a video on Jimmy Savile, and I'll put the link up here in the cards that just pop out, and if you want to watch that, you can. I couldn't find anything from him when he was younger without his Jan, Sanpaku eyes. The man was crazy. The man was the most prolific serial paedophile that we had. He was a disgusting man, and if you want to know about him again, the video I'll put the link. His eyes are Jan. His eyes are psychotic. And he was disgusting human being, and we only found out about his criminal activity after he died. I also just want to add something here. I actually found a little clip whilst I was doing this research, and it was an interview for a paper or a magazine. And here, are you moral? I would say that I am highly moral during the day and even highly moral during the evening. But of course we won't say anything about nighttime, because that is when all real wolves like myself rise from the darkness and leap about causing mayhem left and right. Now obviously he was joking, but remember, they give themselves away by what they actually say, and that was true. We all took that as a pinch of salt. We all saw that as humour. We all saw that at the time as just him being stupid. But if you look at that now, that's a red flag to what he was and to what he was actually about. He's actually telling the newspaper and playing games by giving away who he really is. But no one ever sees it until afterwards. So let's know what you think. Sanpaku eyes, is it a load of bull? Or is it camera angle? Coincidence? True? Or do you think there's something else in it? I do believe in it. I think it's interesting. Let me know what you think below. Is it baloney?